Welcome to a new update, and today it's Altcoin Saturday, in which we are going to discuss everything related to the altcoin markets, and we're going to discuss my altcoin portfolio. As with my altcoin portfolio, I want to get towards 10k, and we're going to discuss how we're going to do that. We started with $1,000. We have not been too active. We are down a bit. So what are we going to do with the portfolio? That's what we do in a weekly update, as today it's Altcoin Saturday. Before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you do enjoy the content. Also check out our other socials, as on Instagram and Twitter I'm making a ton of content for you to build in your journey as a crypto trader and investor, and soon we will be all around. But first, today we're going to discuss the important topics around altcoins. Also, I've been hacked on Twitter, but I'm back on it. So if you have been seeing a tweet from me on 27th of March with a link to whitelist for a project called CK Sync, don't click on it. If you did, make sure to check out your wallet and move your funds from the wallet towards a wallet that is not attached to that link. So then you are safe and your wallet cannot be drained. Then also we've got a whitelist for our course, crypto course level 1, with everything you need about Bitcoin, crypto, NFTs, DeFi, trading, fundamental, portfolios, mindset. Everything will be included in one course. It will be provided to you, and you can win one of those if you whitelist through the link beneath in the description. So check out the description where you can find all information. And then finally, our schedule has shifted. So on Saturday, I'm providing you the altcoin update. On Tuesday, I'll provide a Bitcoin update, which is all around. On Thursday, we're doing macroeconomics. And once in a while, we're going to do live streams when there is a big event. For instance, when Fed is speaking and Powell is speaking, we will be giving you the information that you require. Also, if you want to stay tuned on everything related to the altcoin portfolio, make sure to join our public Discord. I'm posting weekly updates here on YouTube, but of course I can be trading during the week on a portfolio, which means that I'll be posting that somewhere else, and therefore you can join the public Discord and get daily updates on the markets, and also when I'm starting to shift the portfolio a little bit. Enough introduction, let's get towards the important part, which is the altcoin portfolio and the news related to altcoins. With the portfolio, we wanted to establish an altcoin portfolio, as the thesis is that the markets are most likely going to break out. It has been consolidating for a substantial period of time, so we have been using $1,000 to get our positions ready. The $1,000 have been accumulated through 6 positions, and on the right of me you can find all the positions that we started with initially. $1,000 have been used to buy Chainlink for $250, to buy Atom for $200, to buy Curve for $150, to buy RSR for $100, for Lux for $200, and AXS for $100. The actual reasoning behind the positions you can find in the first video we created a few months ago, but we still hold these positions as we are fully positioned into altcoins. You might wonder, why are you doing that? Well, it's a very risky portfolio, and along the way we will be shifting positions and start to take less risk, as ultimately the target is to reach $10,000 during this year. And we're going to do that on a weekly basis with a YouTube update, but as I mentioned briefly, we will be posting updates in the public Discord and on other sites in order to give you real-time updates, because these YouTube updates are on a weekly basis, and therefore I recommend you to join the Discord, the public one. So we started with $1,000, fully accumulated the positions, which is okay. Some of them are doing well, some of them are not doing great. Timing wise could have been better. The current standings of the portfolio you can find on the right of me as well, which is Chainlink at 249.41, Atom at 165, Lux at $105.12, it's down approximately 50%, Curve 134.54, RSR 96, and AXS, which is $81. A total of approximately $820, which means that we are down 18% in the current market circumstances. So what are we going to do from here? We're going to discuss the strategy in this update. We're going to go through the charts. And we're going to say which levels I'm looking at for potential take profits, and we're going to show where I'm going to take profits and my stop losses as well. But first, if we want to continue, we're going to discuss the news related items which I think are important for you to understand when it comes to crypto trading. So when we're discussing news related items, I think for altcoins we have to focus on Elon Musk for a little bit. Elon Musk is the one that is behind Twitter at this point, and during the week he has shifted his Twitter logo towards a Doge. As he mentioned previously that we had a conversation with the chairman of WSB, which we know from the pumps in the stock markets and also the Netflix series. He asked, is there a new platform needed? Chairman said, just buy Twitter and change the bird logo to a Doge. Haha, that would be sick. And then he actually did it, in which we see the Dogecoin here, and that resulted into some strength on Dogecoin. It resulted into more exposure towards crypto. It resulted into a lot of things, and one of them is the fact that Elon Musk is getting sued. He's getting sued for the fact that there's a 258 billion Dogecoin lawsuit, and he asked the US judge on Friday, which was last week, to throw out the 258 billion racketeering lawsuit accusing him of running a pyramid scheme to support the cryptocurrency Dogecoin. People are claiming that he is currently using Dogecoin to make money out of it, and that he might be the one behind a portfolio or behind a wallet with 24 billion Dogecoin in it. The lawyer said the investors never explained how Musk intended to defraud anyone or what risks he concealed that was as a response, and that his statements such as Dogecoin rules and no highs, no lows, only Doge were too vague to support a fraud claim. There's nothing unlawful about tweeting words of support for or funny pictures about a legitimate cryptocurrencies that continues to hold a market cap of nearly 10 billion. So if he actually holds that wallet, which it seems very unlikely that it is, it's still interesting to see that if he holds it, then probably there's a double reasoning behind it. But overall, the fact that he is going to use Dogecoin within Twitter and that we see the exposure is a positive outcome for everything. And once we discuss Dogecoin, we can also discuss XRP, because these two usually go hand in hand in terms of price action, and we'll be discussing that in a little bit. However, Ripple has a lawsuit as well, which is the lawsuit against SEC. And in this article, the attorney Deaton sheds light on Judge Torres' ruling delay. Why? Well, there is a SEC case going on since December 2020, with the SEC alleging that the crypto firm executed the sale of its token without registering it as a security. That is an overall broader topic, as also Binance is getting lawsuits because of unregistered securities. XRP was the first one. And why is this important right now for you to understand is there should have been a result at the end of March already. And the XRP community should have been getting the case conclusion, which was predicted at the end of March, but we still don't have an outcome. And when we do have an outcome, and the odds are quite positive for XRP, it is very likely that the markets are going to shoot up substantially, and that is going to be positive for the crypto markets as a whole. The case between the SEC and Ripple is sensitive and critical, particularly for the blockchain company. Deaton noted that the Judge Torres is aware of this fact and is ensuring that she makes no mistakes in her summary judgment. Deaton believes that the pressure on the judge, especially from the XRP community, is something she has never experienced in her entire career. Further, Deaton noted that there had not been a big and non-fraud case like the one between the SEC and Ripple since 1946. As such, the judge is not taking any chances for errors in delaying the summary judgment. The attorney believes that Torres is taking a smart step by delaying the ruling, knowing that any decision against the blockchain firm will force it to take the case to a higher court. However, if the ruling favors Ripple, she will have to defend the decision to the other party's satisfaction. He believes that the judge could wait another 2 months to give the summary judgment. So this is another important one we should be focused on if it comes to altcoins and the outcome for altcoins in general. Why? Well, if we're looking at the XRP chart, XRP looks really ready to break out of this accumulation phase since 2019, also since 2020, which was the period where we saw the actual lawsuit coming in. So this was the period where we saw the lawsuit kicking in. Price against Bitcoin is relatively the same. But what we do see here is that if XRP starts to break this accumulation period, which we have been seeing in 2015 to 2016 too, and we most likely are getting towards the bull compared to 2017, if we get a breakout taking place and a massive one, Doge is the one to follow because they are always in line with each other. When we're discussing altcoins, there's another one that's going to be very interesting in the coming months, at least for the short-term trade. It is a Litecoin, which is having and halving in 115 days. It's the silver of crypto, and it's very comparable to Bitcoin. The halving is earlier than with Bitcoin, and it's estimated to be at 30th of July 2023. We've had one in 2019 as well, and therefore Litecoin rallied from $22 to $142, showing a ton of strength. What we see in the current chart for Litecoin is that we're consolidating, and it's likely to break to the upside, which should be resulting into continued strength overall as well, towards a peak of approximately $160 to $250 is not unlikely. But these are a few important topics. Now let's head towards the general overview. In the general overview, I'm going to look at Bitcoin dominance, the total market cap and altcoin market cap, and I'll be looking at ETH USDT and ETH against Bitcoin. When we're looking at the total market cap and Bitcoin dominance, we can conclude that the Bitcoin dominance is still acting in a range of sideways action here. The action is still sideways, there's not much taking place, we are not breaking out, Bitcoin is taking the stance, and ETH against Bitcoin is just simply consolidating at this point. So we're looking at a case where we are currently seeing Bitcoin dominance stabilizing at resistance. Overall, we might be getting a case where the Bitcoin dominance is going to rally a little bit more because of Bitcoin breaking through 30k. If you recall from my video from the past week, I said that there's a very likely outcome that Bitcoin is going to break to the upside, which will mean that altcoins are at first, when there's a very vertical move, wouldn't be continuing, but once Bitcoin is going to consolidate, altcoins will start to shoot off left and right, because if you need the confidence to get into altcoins, you need Bitcoin to break through 30k. If it breaks through 30k, that will be the signal that we can see continuation on the altcoins, and that's the moment where the Bitcoin dominance starts to shift. So we had this big move here, especially since the period of the bounce from 20k to 28k. Altcoins were not really following suit. I think that we're getting into a stage of a potential top for the Bitcoin dominance, and we can run to 50 to 52%, and then we start to have a reversal on the Bitcoin dominance, and altcoins can have some real momentum taking place here. The total market cap for crypto is doing really fine. If we are looking at the overall view, we can conclude that the 200 MA and the 200 EMA are currently beneath the chart, which means that we are into a territory where everything is going fine. We've also been beautifully retesting the total market cap prior top from 2017. We're currently consolidating there as support, and therefore we have created a weekly bullish divergence, which is urging for continuation here, and which is urging for substantial continuation overall. Therefore, this is an important chart, and as long as we stay above the 200-week MA and EMA, it is very likely that we're going to continue the momentum. And then I'm assuming that we're going to test this entire block between 1.7 to 2.1 trillion on the total market cap. And when we're looking at the altcoin market cap, we basically get the same theory. We are back above the 200-week MA, we are back above the 200 EMA, and we're looking for strength, which means I've got this chart from prior in which I was concluding the important levels of resistance. What do we see here is that we are currently going to cross these two EMAs, right? But more importantly, we have a conclusion that the peak high of 2017 is holding as support, resulting into this bullish divergence, indicating that we're going to have continuation taking place. If we have the indication of continuation taking place, it is likely that we are breaking this high and continue to make higher highs, higher lows. So after this, we have been seeing this sweep, This sweep resulted into Bitcoin retesting the 19.7k, which is also the realized price for Bitcoin overall, and we bounced from it in a very strong manner. But altcoins are not really following suit, as Bitcoin is showing more strength and altcoins are not. In that way, we're just consolidating towards crucial resistance, and once we crack this high, we can start accelerating towards 1.2 trillion, and that's the moment where we can see some real strength taking place. Now, when we're looking at altcoins overall, we have to look at Ethereum, which is currently swapping its entire supply and it's consolidating nicely. However, people use the previous charts from Ethereum against Bitcoin for narratives at this point, and that does not make that much sense because Ethereum has shifted from proof of work to proof of stake. In this year, the supply has reducing. Ethereum with proof of work had an increasing supply of 4% per year, but until this first quarter, we had seen a reducing amount of supply for Ethereum, as it has been reducing by 66,000 ETH in 2023, which is giving a very interesting investment thesis, because by this you're actually able to invest into a potential hard money case for Ethereum, as it is deflationary and it always, if there is enough demand, will go up more than something that is inflationary. So in that case, the price of Ethereum is stabilizing pretty strongly against Bitcoin, which is different than many of the altcoins which have an inflationary concept. And there's also a larger amount of people using Ethereum as developments and layer 2s being built on Ethereum. So there is a case where Ethereum is going to be swapping or flipping Bitcoin at some point, but at least there is an investment thesis and Ethereum is showing more strength, although we had a slight correction. If we are going to use the chart, which we can see over here, we've had a slight correction taking place, and I've also marked a few other important points here. We had the swap of proof of work to proof of stake in the chart being reflected, had this correction and then a run up. Since this moment took place, slight correction taking place, or since the swap has been taking place, slight correction, but that entirely has something to do with the weakness of the markets overall, and that is currently suiting Ethereum against Bitcoin into a support level and most likely starts to trend up. And when Ethereum against Bitcoin starts to trend up, that's the moment where altcoins start to shoot off as well. Ethereum against Bitcoin against USDT, we can see that we're just consolidating, trending upwards. I understand people that are looking for shorts at this point, but there's just not enough confirmation for that at this point to look at it. So I think that being into long positions makes most sense. It needs to crack 2K. Once it cracks 2K, it's going to shoot off quite fast towards the levels around 3K here. And that is signaling, again, strength for altcoins. Now, when we're looking at altcoins, we have to look at my portfolio. With the altcoin portfolio, we're down approximately 17%, and our target is to reach 10K. Right now it's at $831, and as I mentioned in the beginning of this update, we have been investing into a few altcoins. The valuation of Chainlink is $250, which is comparable to the entry, but especially Curve, especially Atom, and the big one, which is Lux, has been losing a lot of value at this point. If we want to know more about the strategy, I'll be diving into it next week's update, but today we're going to look at the charts and see where we stand at this point. And I think that the charts are overall looking quite the same. We're looking at a portfolio that we currently have into higher time frame charts. So we're looking at 1 week, 1 day, 4 hour to induce ourselves into a strategy that we actually like to follow. And that way we can be down substantially in order to have some drawdown, etc. And that is still currently taking place. But the moment when the markets start to shift, you will be seeing significant returns, and that's when we start to swap. So what are we going to do? The portfolio is like this. Once we go up, and some altcoins are not going to be running from the portfolio, but some do, we have to swap the position towards USDT, and we have to swap the position towards another altcoin because the balances are not correct. And the further we get into the cycle, the more we will be using stop losses on lower time frames to defend our position, but also the more we will be swapping towards USDT or Bitcoin, depends on the market structure, and the more we will be swapping into shorts as well. So If you want to stay on time or real-time updates, you definitely need to join Discord. But for here, we are going to make a weekly update which provides all the information that we've done. Past week I've not been shifting a lot about the positions. I'm currently still into those. Let's have a look at about a few of them, in which the first one is Chainlink that I'd like to bring up today. As long as Chainlink stays above $5.98, there's not much we need to do. If Chainlink starts to break through this previous high of $8.40, which have been taking a long time to get in this range, once it cracks this range, that is when we get into a theory that we are looking for TPs. Overall, the first TP that we have is the level around 16 bucks. That is where I'm positioned for, and I'm not looking for closing the position anywhere in between. Which means that if we are going to make the run or break up, I'll be swapping towards the daily time frame to move my stop loss with Chainlink to defend my position overall. Right now I don't have a stop loss because I'm just positioned. I've entered around these levels and there's no reason to actually start reducing or using a tight stop loss if my targets are so wide. If you're looking for an RR based system, you can conclude that we basically are playing this RR here, which is an RR of 6. Now when we're looking at a few more altcoins, we can also look at Curve, which for instance is currently showing a chart which is similar to Chainlink. We have been seeing this run down, we have been accumulating a position, we are down a little bit when it comes to the entry point, but as long as we stay above these wicks here, and essentially I want to move it, if we are making a new high and get towards 125, I want to move the invalidation towards 80 cents. The target is that once it breaks through this crucial resistance point, is that we're looking at a sweep of these highs, which is that we're looking at $4.35. So technically speaking, we are still in a sideways range. Once we break through this entire level here and crack this resistance point, I'm looking towards $4.35 and I'll be using a tighter stop loss. Then Lux, which is currently showing the weakness that we are having basically because of the inflationary supply, weaker markets. The inflationary supply means that you can stake the actual asset and therefore it is something that you should take into account once you're investing into altcoins. What do we see? Well, clearly I want to see a weekly close of the candle beneath this low, and actually we can move it towards this low. These are the two. If we have a weekly candle close beneath this level, that is a clear invalidation taking place. We probably will be consolidating until we pick up some momentum, and then 40 cents is definitely my take profit. But if we zoom out some more and get a clear run on the markets, we can start looking for take profits around $1.30, which is definitely the go-to zone. But once again, as I mentioned, the higher we get, the more we will be using a tighter stop loss. And if you want to stay tuned, you have to watch my Discord. Next week we will be diving more into the strategy behind the altcoin portfolio, but now round off the update. I hope you have been enjoying this update in which we discussed my altcoin portfolio and why it's down and my journey towards $10,000. I hope you have been enjoying all the news related items towards altcoins and my general overview when it comes to the altcoin markets with the Bitcoin dominance, with the total market cap, with ETH against Bitcoin. I think it's an overall broad view for the altcoin markets. On Tuesday I'll be back with a Bitcoin update. Make sure to share this video towards all your friends. Hit the subscribe button which you can find beneath, and I'll see you again in the new update on Tuesday.